Everybody, have you been paying attention to the PPP loans, the payroll protection program that Congress rolled out a few months ago with all those billions and billions of dollars? Well, it's about to run out soon, but I've been getting a lot of questions about PPP because it's about to run out and there's still money available. But it's quite interesting the people that are actually asking me about these loans. Many of them do not have businesses. And so what I wanted to do tonight, just real quick, drop it on everybody and just talk about some of these cases and talk about some of the potential forgiveness that's coming down the pike for some of these loans as well. So I'm not going to be on too long, but you can always drop your questions in there. Either I'll get them now or I'll get them later, but they will be gotten at some point. If my mother heard me say that, she would have a fit because clearly that was not good English. But again, I'm Kamari Ellis. Welcome to the Finance Rebel Show. The Finance Rebel Show is all about helping people increase their financial IQ, especially my people in the Black community who really, really need help with raising their financial IQ because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so much just flat out wrong information out there. I've kind of taken the charge up and trying to right the ship and put out good information for everybody to take advantage of. So, PPP, Payroll Protection Program. Several of billions of dollars rolled out. I know the CARES Act initially had several billions. I know the CARES Act initially was $2 trillion. And I want to say there was roughly about 800 billion on the line. And when it first came out, when they first did the CARES Act, they ran out. It was rolled out very, very sloppily, very, very sloppily. A lot of people were getting denied. A lot of people weren't even able to process their applications. However, SBA kind of cleaned it up. They came back, they revamped it, and now it seems like they're giving everybody and their mama a loan. I mean, a lot of people are getting loans a lot faster than they were before. I mean, I've heard stories about people applying for the payroll protection program loans in one day and getting approval and money deposited in their account in one day. So that is very, very, very astonishing, in my opinion, because you never see it. You've never seen business funding this good. I would have never guessed in all my wildest dreams and imagination that people would be able to get $10,000, $50,000, or $100,000 plus dollars in loans and grants in less than a 24 to 48 hour turnaround time. But it's been happening. However, the downside of that, the dark side of that, is that many folks have been lying. Like I told you, people have been asking me about this, but they have not had a business. And many of them have said, well, since the SBA has kind of relaxed standards and they're trying to get money out there because they want the money to get out there into the economy so the economy does not tank, right? We had upwards of 40 million people on the unemployment rolls nationwide not too long ago. And we all know we have too many people on unemployment. Once unemployment runs out, it's going to get a little hairy, right? Because part of that $2 trillion of the CARES Act was also an additional $600 in unemployment that they get every week, $600 a week in unemployment. That's extra. That's actually about to run out this week as well. So, I'm seeing a lot of people starting to get a little bit more animated, get a little bit more assertive and aggressive about these government programs as it winds down to the end. Now, when I was telling my clients and my friends about the EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which was one package that the SBA had, and also applying for the PPP loan, many people didn't want to apply for it. Many people were scared to apply for it. And I said, well, listen, most of my clients are Black. We always complain about not getting funding or not having funding for our business. Here we are right now presented with an opportunity to get funding for our businesses. And many of y'all hesitated. Y'all didn't want to pull the trigger because you were scared. And when you look at these programs, the terms are wonderful. PPP is a 1% loan over 60 months. I know they're doing loans from 10 million down to, I want to say 10,000. And the EIDL program, which was initially a grant, and then it came back and offered some loans as well, is a 30-year loan at 3.75%. Again, a 30-year loan at 3.75%. So that's like a mortgage. So you're getting a mortgage terms for your business. Now, many of us complain, and I see the memes running around talking about, oh, you can get a student loan, but you can't get money for a business. Well, they relax the standards for now. They relax the standards for now. And again, a lot of people were a little gun shy. A lot of people were hesitant. And I get it. Nobody wants more debt. Nobody wants a loan. But when we're all complaining about not getting capital to entrepreneurs, now's the time to pull the trigger. But with all that money being so easily and readily available, the government already knew that there was going to be a lot of fraud going on. A while ago, I talked about the guys down in Atlanta. From I forget which show it was. I want to say Love and Hip Hop, where he got over $1 million in PPP funding, and he spent it on a rave and some child support, about $40,000 in child support, and some cars and some jewelry. The money, however, is supposed to go to, especially PPP. The money for PPP is supposed to go to keeping your employees employed and on payroll, not just spending the money on you, yourself, and your hobbies, right? But a lot of people did that. So I've been seeing, again, like I said, people have been asking me this question, and I've been seeing a lot more cases come out of people getting money and basically trying to live their best life. This one guy, the first guy we're going to talk about, the man is accused of fraudulently obtaining a $9 million PPP loan, again, payroll protection loan, and he spent hundreds of thousands of dollars gambling in Vegas, right? So I didn't want to go through too deep on these, but I wanted to talk about them. I find them absolutely hilarious. And I find them hilarious because I always wonder, why do people think the government is dumb? When the government has unlimited resources, the government has lawyers and doctors and engineers and economists and some of the great minds that are out here today. They got great benefits. Might not pay the best, but they don't pay bad. But they've got resources, right? And they've got a great retirement plan. So, when I hear these stories, it always makes me laugh. Again, my mother always told me never to laugh at anybody's calamity, but I wouldn't call this calamity. I would call this a self-inflicted wound. So it's a little different. It's a little different. So this first case, and for my people that are on IG, I know you can't see this. For my folks on Facebook and YouTube, you can see this. But prosecutors said they now believe he received approximately $9 million in fraudulent loans. They also believe that the number could rise as the investigation continues. So they don't even have all the figures yet. But according to court documents, Marnell is the defendant here. He's the one being charged. Marnell submitted a fraudulent loan application that made numerous false and misleading statements about the company's business operations and payroll expenses. Court documents also allege that Marnell often uses aliases, submitted fake and altered documents, including federal tax filings and employee payroll records. So listen, never fake your tax returns, people. That is a surefire way. It's a surefire giveaway. Why? Because there's a document, there's a track record of that. They're always going to cross-reference these things. And we're talking about $9 million. We're not talking about a $10,000 loan or a $20,000 loan. We're talking about $9 million. I would be very careful if I got $9 million in a loan from anybody. But again, people are reckless. So he submitted fake tax returns, submitted fake payroll records, And the complaint further alleged that Marnell transferred millions of dollars from the fraudulently obtained loan proceeds to his brokerage accounts to make risky stock market bets and spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at the Bellagio Hotel and Casino and other gambling establishments as recently as last weekend. Now, this article came out July 16th, so that's 4 days ago. So he was out living his best life, and he had a ball. I hope he enjoys it, because if convicted as charged, Marnell faces a statutory maximum sentence of 30 years. So listen, folks, I don't care how much money it is. My freedom is more important than money, especially 30 years. I got kids. So I would think my presence in my, not I think, I know, my presence in my children's life is worth more than $9 million. Yeah, $9 million is cool. It could pay off a lot of student loan debts. It could pay off a lot of mortgages. I could invest. But again, I tell people all the time, I don't look good in orange jumpsuits. I look good in orange, but not orange jumpsuits or government issued what do they call golf shirts. Because y'all see me wear the golf shirts or the polo shirts. I don't want a government issue polo shirt. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. So listen, we got this one guy, $9 million in PPP loans. He got caught. He couldn't have thought that through. He was just being greedy. And so a lot of times, many of us are put in these precarious positions because they're greedy. And they haven't put their greed in check. And that's very, very, very sad. So there's another case that I want to talk about real quick. And again, I'm talking about this because people are asking me about applying for PPP loans, and most of them don't have a business. They don't have business first. That's the first thing you need when applying for a PPP loan, or what they call EIDL or EIDL loan. You need a business, people. And listen, a business isn't just some big skyscraper in the building, in the sky, right? You can be an independent contractor. You can be an Uber driver, Instacart, what's some of the other ones, Lyft, any of those. You can do all of those things, and you are still a business, right? And by the way, business owners always get the best tax breaks. So don't forget that if you are thinking about different ways to try to make more money and be better for yourself in the future, always get more. They always get more tax breaks, right? So here, this guy in Texas, right? This guy in Texas, the feds bust Texas man for using his PPP loan to buy nearly $1 million in crypto. Now, I'm sure I got some of my crypto lovers on here, my Bitcoin lovers on here listening and watching, that are like, yay. But again, is $1 million in crypto worth your livelihood, your freedom, your opportunity, right? Because what your freedom is opportunity to do bigger and greater things that you're doing right now. But again, feds bust Texas man. It seems like a lot of stuff is going on in Texas. All right. For investing $1 million in cryptocurrency. So Joshua Arguez, I guess that's his name, received nearly $1 million from the federal Paycheck Protection Program to help 51 employees at his Texas barbecue. This one is a hoot. Now, you got to listen to this one, folks. Listen to this one. So, again, he had to help 51 employees at his Texas barbecue. Not franchise, not multiple chains, multinational chains, but a barbecue store. But according to federal law enforcement, Texas barbecue had no employees and only a website with nothing for sale. Meanwhile, Arguez, I think that's how you say his name, Arguez allegedly sent the $956,000 he received to an account at the cryptocurrency company Coinbase via a series of 5 wire transfers. Side note, For everybody that still thinks that you shouldn't pay taxes on your crypto sales, the IRS is in bed with Coinbase. They have broken Coinbase down. Coinbase is totally cooperating. But back to the story. The Justice Department did not explain how it detected the fraud. They ain't going to do that. But a criminal complaint describes a series of curious circumstances. These include Arga's PPP application, which suggested he would pay 51 Texas barbecue employees an average of $90,000 a month. Did you hear that? He paid them an average 51 employees $91,000 a month. That payroll is ridiculous. I don't know anybody working in a barbecue place or any staff working at a barbecue place making that much money. So the article goes on and explains it says such a high average salary for a barbecue operation raises further suspicion. Again, the government ain't dumb. I tell y'all that all the time. Listen, spread the word. Tell people the government's not dumb. All right. When they see goofy stuff, it makes them raise an eyebrow. Like if you saw an application, right, and you ain't got to be a numbers guy. You don't have to be an accountant or a financial genius. But you're like, wow, this guy has 51 employees and he has a salary of average payroll $90,000, right? You're going to think, well, how much do these people make? Like, how often do they make this? Do they make this all the time? That really seems like a lot of money. So I'm just doing the math real quick. So $91,000 a month across 51 employees is roughly $1,700 a month. But the question is, are all these people full-time? How does a barbecue establishment maintain $90,000 a month? How many barbecue establishments are making $90,000 a month? I mean, there's some barbecue establishments that are doing really, really well. Don't get me wrong. And yeah, you can do mad catering and everything else, but that just seems a little weird. At least I thought it was. All right. So the article goes on and explains. It says, meanwhile, the complaint also recounts conversations between Arges and the Houston credit union that administrated the PPP loan. Right. So listen, the agencies, the bureau, the banks and the credit unions that are administering the loans are also doing due diligence as well. They don't want to have bad loans on their books. In one conversation, a credit union staffer asked Argus what he thought of Coinbase, which does not offer payroll services. And they said, I don't really manage that aspect of it, but I believe it pays employees like that, like through that, the complaint alleged. According to the Justice Department, all of the PPP funds for Texas barbecue remained in the Coinbase account, where Arges made several cryptocurrency purchases that made a profit. Well, maybe he's a good crypto trader. And in a separate alleged scheme, Arges received $160,000 in PPP funds for a fictitious business called Houston Landscaping. Oh, so listen, this guy wasn't satisfied with just having one business that he got loans for. He had two. So he had his Texas barbecue and he also had Houston Landscaping. So the complaint alleges he withdrew several $1,000s of those funds at a local ATM. I wonder what the ATM fees were on that. So Arges has been released on $25,000 bail. A public defender for Arges did not immediately. So this guy's got a public defender. He won't even take some of his money that he skated off with on the crypto to actually pay for his freedom. Maybe he doesn't have it. I don't know. But it did not immediately return a request for comment. The federal government has previously invited anyone who suspects stimulus fraud to report it. So listen, I need y'all to be leery of trying to run off and get one of these loans when you don't have a business, when you don't have employees. The purpose of the funds are to keep people employed. Now, part of the allure of the PPP funds are them being forgiven. Congress is still up in the air about that. I was just reading an article about that as well, but it's still up in the air about that. Stephen Mnuchin, who is the current resident of the White House's henchman, he's over top of Treasury and the IRS, has suggested that everyone is forgiven, or what they're calling some of the smaller loans. I've heard smaller loan being 150,000 or a smaller loan being 50,000, that those are forgiven and or not as stringently reviewed. So we never know what's going to happen with that, but I seriously doubt if you got $1 million or $5 million or $10 million and you just took advantage of the system, that the government is going to forgive that. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Again, there is a lot of shenanigans going on and going around here, and it's going to be trouble for a lot of people. It's already trouble for a lot of people, and you don't want those people to be you. So again, I encourage you all to avoid any of the shenanigans when it comes to these federal funds. I do, however, strongly suggest, if you have a business and you haven't applied already, and you could use the funds to keep business going or potentially grow business, to apply for the loans. Had one client that didn't want to do it. Well, I'll tell you the story real quick. Had one client who didn't have, he kind of ended his business last year. He wanted to apply for PPP, wasn't eligible for PPP, didn't have any employees. All his people were contractors. I know that some people that have contractors that apply for PPP, but that's kind of the gray area. I suggested he apply for EIDL. He applied for EIDL, and I think he got about 12 grand. And that was kind of one of those situations where I said they basically did that loan in about 48 hours. Now, they were upset because they wanted the grant, because some of these EIDL grants have been up to $10,000 as well. But he got a loan, roughly $12,000 over 30 years at 1%, at 3.75% interest. I don't think you can beat that. You can't beat that with a bat. So he took it after we kind of debated about it for a little bit, and he's happy now. He's happy now. He thinks he'll be able to do some things with his business and keep it going and get it going in the right direction. But again, I caution everybody, apply for the money, but only apply for it if you truly, truly, truly qualify for it. If you don't have a business, don't apply. Don't make up fake financials. Don't make up fake tax returns. Listen, never make up fake tax returns. In 08, 07, 09, when the last crisis occurred, people were creating faulty or false tax records. And you know what happened? I'm sorry, they were making up faulty and false tax records to get mortgages. Because back then it was the Wild Wild West. It was kind of no doc, no show. If you have a pulse, we will give you a mortgage. We'll give you a loan. FBI got one to that. They got smart to that. So now what they do is they verify that your tax return is actually filed, and they verify to see if your tax return indeed matches what you turned in. So listen, it is absolutely idiotic to ever turn in a fake tax return or fake financials, right? Because then you can get, if you get caught, 9 times out of 10, you will get caught. But then it becomes this whole conspiracy thing, and it becomes bigger than life. I've seen some people get RICO charges for some of this stuff, and they weren't really doing anything illegal. So they didn't realize. They just were trying to get over and get some free money. But like I always tell y'all, everybody's looking for a lottery ticket. Nobody really wants to do the work. Do the work, right? That's the one thing you can control. Do the work. Play it safe. Do it right. Because at the end of the day, we already know the criminal justice system is out for our folks. We don't need to give them any more ammunition to throw Black people in jail. So, do it right. And at the end of the day, when you do it right, you never have to look over your shoulder. When you do it right, you never have to worry about anybody trying to to muddy up your name. When you do it right, you don't have any skeletons in the closet, and you can move on and keep moving and keep moving. And so, don't be short-sighted. Don't be a short-term thinker. Think long range. The short-term gratification, the lottery tickets, they never last. What lasts? The work. The work always lasts because the work is hard. And the work actually helps separate you from everybody else because nobody really wants to work. Most people, I hate to say it, are lazy. Most people are looking for a way to get over. And sadly, a lot of those people that are looking to get over really fast, really quick, a lot of times they're geniuses and they're impatient. But the one thing that always breaks that is the system. And it's always been like that. And listen, there are always going to be people who get over faster, who might have done the work or not done the work. Everybody's situation is different. But for my folks, I would say, do it right. Keep your nose clean because again, we can't afford the penalty. We can't afford to be slick, at least not in the way that a lot of other people are from other communities. We don't have that luxury. So I'm not going to preach too much. I just wanted to get on here and talk about that. And listen, tell folks, the work is the work. You got to do the work. Don't try to take shortcuts. Learn as much as you can. Work as hard as you can. And then see where see where you stand and where your results are after all that. So again, I'm not going to stay on too long, folks. I'll be back on Wednesday. You never know. I might sneak back in tomorrow. I told you, I said I'm going to start coming in more. But definitely tune in on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I will be back doing Wealthy Wednesdays, answering everybody's questions, everybody's money questions, to be specific, on Wednesday, 8 p.m. So spread the word, and I will see you all soon. Thank you all who joined me on this live. I was honored to have you here. Honored to spend a little bit of time with you all tonight. And I will see you all on Wednesday. Have a great night. Bye-bye, everybody.